Covering Flint, Saginaw, and Bay City, this is ABC 12 News at 11.
Did you see it? A fireball in the sky, a suspected meteor or bolide that has everyone talking tonight. If you didn't see it, you're probably hearing all about it because we certainly are. Hundreds of comments, calls, emails coming in tonight, all asking that big question. What was it? It was reported from cities all across the state, as far west as Wisconsin, and ended up somewhere in Detroit. Chris, exciting night as far as science goes.
Yes.
What can you tell us that we've learned in the last couple hours?
Well, one thing I want to bring up is this thing was so bright and the clouds were so thick. So that really shows the magnitude of brightness because it was actively snowing when this was going on.
About 8 o'clock tonight.
About 8 o'clock tonight. But let's go through some quick lessons. There's going to be one of two terms that I think that you're going to be hearing, or at least both of them, either bolide or fireball. Well, first off, a bolide is a bright meteor that breaks up in the atmosphere. Its brightness is that of 2 times that of the moon, or just as bright as the moon, and sometimes it can vary. They can be even brighter. Going over to the radar computer, we'll go to the definition of a fireball. What a fireball is a very bright meteor, and the brightness can be more similar to Venus. I want to bring up another thing. I know that we're completely changing gears on you. What's the difference between a meteor and a meteorite? Well, a meteoroid, a complete different term, that hasn't entered the Earth's atmosphere, but a meteor is an extraterrestrial body that enters the atmosphere. If this thing did indeed not burn up all the way to the surface and it hits the surface, whatever lands and remains there, may it be a stone or a metal object, well, that is a meteorite. So that's a quick little lesson. We're going to learn a lot more about this coming up. I need to talk about what's happening in our atmosphere. Right now we have thick clouds, snow is wound down. We still have a few flurries here and there, but temperatures are going to be diving down into the single digits. Skies are clearing, so better sights to see a fireball, meteor, or bolide, but that's already done. But then clouds will increase through the day tomorrow, and highs are going to reach the mid-20s. Winds will also pick up as we're working our way through tomorrow. Coming up, I'm going to have a lot more on what to expect from the weather side of things. But in the meantime, let's talk more about this spectacle that happened just a couple hours ago.
Thank you, Chris, for that fireball in the sky. Certainly dominating conversation. And, of course, social media tonight. It was everywhere. We're joined now by ABC 12's Sherry Hardman. You were actually out filming another story when this happened, and you guys immediately switched gears. Tell us what people are saying tonight.
Well, Angie, people are talking about this all over. Some people thought it was thunder and lightning, maybe a meteor or a falling star, and people all over the state saw it.
Driving here to talk to you guys about the lovely igloos that we decided to put up, and on my way flying up the highway, the sky turned crazy blue, and as I looked to my left, I saw something that looked like a shooting star or meteor fall out of the sky. Wow. It was incredible.
Check out these videos. It happened a few minutes after 8 p.m. The dark skyline was momentarily lit up all across the state. Some even felt their houses and buildings shake. Those who saw it say it was incredible.
Just a flash, a bright flash. Knew y'all was outside taking pictures if it was him.
It was pretty inexplicable, really. It's just one of those freak things, I suppose, where the entire space lights up for a moment. It was crazy. So it was just a pretty sudden flash, and I don't know, I have no explanation for something like that.
I missed it. Tonight, the National Weather Service in Detroit is confirming the flash and boom was not weather-related, like Chris said, instead likely a meteor. In the studio, Sherry Hardman, ABC 12 News.
Well, we even took a phone call tonight from a resident of Gaylord who is a truck driver. He saw the flash along his route tonight. Get this, he was not even in the state. He's never seen anything like this in his 30 years behind the wheel. Listen in as he describes what he experienced just outside of Milwaukee, Wisconsin, prior to this flash being seen by us in mid-Michigan.
That was very, very large as far as the flame trail and the brilliance that came off of that.
You said it lit up your whole windshield.
Oh, yes, yes. For how big this lit up the sky and the flames that came off of it, and for people to see it that far away, I think that, you know, it probably was an object that didn't get a chance to burn up before it impacted, because as I was seeing it come down, I said, there's no way in the world that burned up or disintegrated before it hit the earth.
Well, as you can imagine, this is the only thing dominating Facebook, Twitter, and every other corner of the internet tonight, especially in our area. Cities where people saw it include Gladwin, Novi, Toledo, Freeland, Durand, Birch Run. We wanted to check in on some of the comments being left with us from our viewers tonight. Lowell says, I was shoveling the driveway when it got really bright outside and I saw it burn up like fireworks with no sound. Amber adds, I saw it while driving in Lower Genesee Township. It lit up my windshield. It had an orange tail and then exploded. I didn't hear or feel anything, but I was driving on a snowy dirt road. Sydney says, I was driving down here in Novi and I saw the flash, then a loud boom that I thought was my tire blowing up. Leon simply adds, it shook the houses here in Detroit, and it was strong too. ABC 12 has learned the sonic boom from the meteor or bolide even triggered earthquake sensors in St. Clair Shores. We're joined now by Buddy Stark, the manager at Flint's Longway Planetarium. Your phone's been blowing up tonight. You're an expert in this kind of thing. Thank you so much for coming out this late at night to talk about this. And we do have some new video just showing us a few more vantage points of this meteor or bolide, all captured by surveillance cameras throughout Metro Detroit. We're going to keep on watching the video as you talk a little bit about what you think this might have been.
Yeah, so as I first started hearing about it, and my wife was hearing about it and things, she was saying, it's got to be a meteor, it's got to be a meteor. And I said, well, let's hold out on the jury and make sure that that's truly the case. There were some other possible, as you heard, weather-related possibilities. But then you see how quickly the shadows are moving from the light source in those videos. Demonstrates that the light source itself has to be moving pretty quickly, which tells you that that's probably a meteor. And then other ones that I've seen actually have caught it in the air, and so you'll see the fireball actually explode. One security cam in Detroit, I think, caught it, and I saw some interstate footage that also caught it in the air as well. That makes it pretty clear that it was a meteor.
And you feel like that also would light up the sky the way we're talking, just some people made it sound almost was like daylight. Yeah, so if that's the case, and I didn't catch it myself, but if that's the case, then we're probably looking at a bolide because those are the really, really bright ones that have some kind of explosion right at the end of it. So it has a bright trail and then enough of the forces, as it comes down and hits the atmosphere, enough of those upward forces from the atmosphere cause a lot of internal pressure. It explodes. And you get a very bright flash at the end. That seems to be what we saw with this one. We were talking a little bit earlier, and although this feels very rare to us because we don't see it, it's not that rare for something like this to happen. Yeah, for the planet as a whole, no, it's not very rare at all. They think that probably thousands of these happen every year. It's just that most of them probably happen over the ocean. We've got a lot of water on the planet, so you're not going to see those. Some of them might happen in the daytime, and so you would hear it. But maybe you would think it's some construction site somewhere. You don't actually, in the daytime, you're not going to see the flash. And so, oh yeah, so this is the highway footage yes,
that I saw.
a little bit more video from the dash.
Yeah, and so the whole highway will light up towards the end of that video. And it's just fantastic. Yeah, that right there, wow. So you can see it in the sky. So that's pretty telling. If it's not a bolide, it's certainly a fireball. And the colors, what does that mean? Is that relevant as far as the different colors? We've heard people say blue. We see there some orange. Yeah, we just heard blue, which might just be the snow. A lot of times when the light. Yeah, when the sky looks green, it's actually because of the ice in the clouds refracting the light a little differently. So the orange would be because of the exploding meteorite. That's just the typical color of that. The blue might be from what was in the atmosphere at the time, just a guess. And for it to be seen from that many states, what are your thoughts on that and how large this event may have been? Yeah, so we haven't heard any reports about broken glass, which means that it's not as big as some of the other ones that have happened in the last few years. Others that exploded over the sky in Russia, there was all kinds of reports of windows shattering, and that adds a whole other level of danger because people go to the window to see what's happening, and then the sonic boom hits. So we haven't heard from the sound. Yeah, exactly. So you see the light outside and just think, what is that? And then you go to the window, and there's a delay, of course, from light moving faster than sound. So then the sound hits the sonic boom hits the windows and breaks the glass. We haven't heard anything like that, which means that it's not the largest of these kinds of bolides by any means that we've seen. But we did hear that houses were shaking. And yeah, and the fact that it was seen such a great distance away means that it probably happened fairly high in the atmosphere. there because you have to be able to, you've got the curve of the earth to work with.
Although it felt very low to those who saw it.
I'm sure it did, yes. Over Detroit, yeah, absolutely. So yeah, I mean, obviously a very large, much larger than a standard meteorite. You can just, from the video footage you're watching, it's very plain to see that's the case, but not at all unheard of.
What is your takeaway for those who did experience it and see it? Is it a little bit of history for people? I mean,
yeah, you got a very special thing, and a lot of people in my line of work, people really love this kind of thing because it's sort of a reminder that these things are out there, and they're waiting to for our planet to kind of find them as we go around the sun. And so, yeah, you experienced a bit of history tonight. You won't see that. Probably you experiencing it won't happen again in your lifetime. It's a very unique thing.
All right, we sure appreciate you coming in to share your knowledge and explain this all to all of us. We're going to keep watching developments overnight. We will bring you the very latest on ABC 12 on the morning show beginning at 4:30 a.m. Happening now, a Mid-Michigan hospital is putting visitor restrictions in place due to an increase in reported flu cases. ABC 12's Amy Hybels has more now on the changes being put into works to protect patients at Covenant Healthcare in Saginaw.
These signs just went up. The hospital is asking people to limit visitors to immediate family members only, family members who are healthy. Covenant Healthcare wants to protect its patient population from the flu virus.
The reason we're restricting visitors, quite honestly, is so that we can continue to keep our patients here in the hospital safe.
Spencer says they've seen an increase in the number of positive influenza cases. Within the last week, they've had more than 100 cases reported from both their outpatient and inpatient labs.
Along those same lines, we've seen an increase of patients we've hospitalized with influenza.
The Michigan Department of Health and Human Services recorded more than 2,400 cases of influenza statewide in the last week. A spokesperson for the DHHS says the flu is ramping up earlier this year, and they're seeing more of the severe strain.
It is more severe, absolutely. But again, it attacks those patients who are most vulnerable. So our elderly patients, our pediatric patients.
To reduce the spread of the flu, Nurse Cindy Koff demonstrates proper hand hygiene.
30 seconds.
Keep your hands away from your face and nose. Spencer says the flu shot is still considered the first line of defense.
Absolutely not too late. Anybody greater than the age of 6 months.
While this year's coverage is about 30%, the DHHS says some coverage is better than none. Family is good medicine, but Spencer is encouraging only those who are healthy visit their loved ones right now.
That when you come to the hospital that you are free from any respiratory signs and symptoms, no symptoms of flu, headache, or fever, and that you're healthy.
Visitor restrictions will remain in effect until further notice. Reporting in Saginaw, Amy Hybels, ABC 12 News.
St. Mary's of Michigan is also implementing visitor restrictions. Hurley Medical Center is not at this time. Another flu-related death stunning everyone tonight. Family members of Katie Oxley Thomas are still in shock after the 40-year-old mother of three went to Good Samaritan Hospital's emergency room in San Jose earlier this month with flu symptoms. Thomas died 15 hours later.
I know that she could hear us, and we're saying, Katie, you can fight this, you can beat it. And we just didn't believe it. We were in total shock. It's still hard to believe.
The CDC held a special meeting today to talk about the current flu season. Health officials say this year's virus, the H3N2, is incredibly difficult to work with, predict, and prevent. It has also hit early and spread quickly all across the U.S. New at 11, a Clare County man is behind bars tonight, charged with assault with intent to murder during an incident involving a pistol and possibly a knife. 27-year-old Adrian Ford is accused of attacking his 62-year-old roommate Kenneth Larman in Hamilton Township. The January 11th incident left the victim with serious injuries. Detectives say it stemmed from a disagreement. Ford was arrested 2 days after the attack and now faces multiple related charges. He remains behind bars in the Clare County Jail. Crews were working earlier this evening to repair railroad crossing tracks at Richfield Road in Flint following reports of vehicles being damaged while trying to cross the tracks. This is a first look at that scene. The area is not too far from where a water main break occurred on Sunday. We're told asphalt had broken up over the tracks, causing drivers to run it over. We'll have much more news coming up next.
Covering Flint, Saginaw, and Bay City, you're watching ABC 12 News at 11 with Angie Hendershot, Matt Franklin, Chief Meteorologist J.R. Kurtek, and Ryan Slocum with sports. ABC 12 News, your trusted source.
Now to another winter blast gripping hold of much of the country. 90 million people sitting in its dangerous path. Snow, ice, and bitter cold from Texas all the way to the Northeast. ABC's Chuck Sievertson breaks down the devastation it's caused and what's next.
The Lone Star State in a state of cleanup. A 1,700-mile swath of snow and ice moving east, creating treacherous travel conditions.
Unless it's an extreme emergency, to please stay off the roads.
Kevin Quinn from our ABC affiliate in Houston was getting ready to report from this crash when
1, 2, 3, 4. Whoa, there's
a truck careened down an embankment, nearly taking out other cars. A big cloud over the Big Easy. Check out this time lapse of a cold front rolling in over New Orleans. North Carolina under a winter storm warning, the governor declaring a state of emergency.
We know that forecasts can change quickly, so we're preparing now, and we want to urge everyone to do the same.
The streets of Memphis covered in white, drone footage capturing the action from above. Further north on Interstate 65 near Bonneville, Kentucky, a pileup between multiple tractor trailers and a Greyhound bus. At least 7 injured. Traffic snarled for miles. At the airport, more than 1,500 flights canceled, thousands more delayed. Next in the storm's path, the mid-Atlantic states, D.C., Philly, New York City, and much of New England, all in the strike zone. Chuck Sievertson, ABC News, New York.
And that's that cold front that rolled through yesterday, and the back end, or the trough that rolled through, gave us an inch of snow, even a few inches up into the thumb. So here's some quick stats about today. We didn't get out of the teens in Flint, got into the lower 20s in the Tri-Cities. Single digits is how we started off the day. We'll do that again. Temperatures already dropping down into the single digits. I'll tell you where temperatures go tonight, where they plan to go tomorrow, and what day will be the warmest of the next 7. My 7-day forecast coming up after the break.
Now, your ABC 12 First Alert HD forecast.
Welcome, everyone. The snow is now wound down for the most part. A few flurries here and there not being picked up here on the radar, and that should be mainly around Saginaw, down 75 to Genesee County. But we're seeing a good amount of clearing, which means temperatures are clearing the way for a frigid night for some. Oscoda had a report of close to a foot of snow over the last 36 hours. That's why temperatures are already down 5 degrees below zero, 13 degrees in Saginaw with those thicker clouds in place, 2 degrees in Bad Axe. So really where we saw the most snow, either side of the Saginaw Bay, that's where temperatures are the coolest because of that fresh snow effect. Wind chills, though, with those winds blowing about 5-10 miles per hour. Look at Oscoda, 16 degrees below zero. So it depends where you are, depends where the temperatures are, but it looks like the temps are going to average out around 5, 6, 7, 8 degrees from north to south, besides the areas that are already down to around zero. Our wind chills for most of us should be around zero, but the colder you get, of course, a little better chance at about -10, as you're already seeing north of the Saginaw Bay, even a little bit cooler. And through the day tomorrow, staying in the lower teens because temperatures are going to be in the mid-20s, but the winds are going to be getting up to around 30 miles per hour at times. So what happens is a front is digging its way close to home, but it's not really going to affect us. But we have strong winds out of the southwest, which will start to warm us up over the coming days, but they're also going to be gusty through the day, keeping those wind chills down. And we have a brief disturbance that increases the clouds on Thursday. I think we'll have a chance for a few passing snow showers, but most of us should be snow-free for your Thursday, keeping our next round of precipitation not to arrive until the end of the weekend. So mostly clear with wind chills near zero. I have mostly cloudy here, but I think we're going to be mostly clear. Then the clouds will start to increase, and then 8 degrees, I think, on average, the further south that you go. Through the day tomorrow, temperatures getting into the mid-20s. Look at these winds. These winds are going to be gusting up to 30 miles per hour, sustained around 20 miles per hour. We'll have a brighter start to the day, but then eventually these clouds will increase, even turning overcast for some of us. But the big thing about your Wednesday, no snow to worry about, my friends. Here's a 7-day forecast. Temperatures get warmer and warmer through the weekend, the lower to the mid-40s on Saturday and Sunday. But Sunday's going to be an iffy one. That's where I think we're going to have rain move in, and eventually that rain's going to change over to snow late on Monday, and that'll be all snow on Tuesday, which could lead to a slippery commute. So a quick little detail popping that out. Here's that low pressure system bringing widespread rain, even heavier rain coming into your Monday morning, and then after that, we're changing everything back over to that snow. We'll have a lot more coming up here on ABC 12. We'll see you after these messages.
Now hiring, Lear Corporation, Aerotech, and Mott Community College teaming up to fill hundreds of jobs at Lear's new automotive seating plant in Flint. The college will be hosting a job fair today from 11 until 4 o'clock at the Regional Technology Center. They're expecting to hire around 430 production positions. An entry-level wage is set at $13.85 an hour with second shift incentives of an additional 30 cents an hour. Don't forget to dress professionally and bring several copies of your resume. Head to abc12.com and you will find a complete list of qualifications and other information. Ryan Slocum here now. Busy night in the sports department.
Always, yeah. Another one tonight, though. Central Michigan basketball team looking to put an end to their 3-game losing streak. We'll have that plus high school boys and girls highlights. And on a night, a meteor lit up the skies in Michigan. The Stars were lighting up the Red Wings at Little Caesars Arena. We'll have the highlights next. The Red Wings have been playing much better hockey of late. They have won 5 of their last 7 games. Tonight, they look to keep it going against the Stars. Detroit beginning a short 2-game homestand, and they get started in a hurry. 44 seconds in, Tyler Bertuzzi from behind the net to Trevor Daley. His 3rd of the year puts the Wings on top just like that. Doesn't take long for the Stars to respond, though. Radek Faksa, the redirection past Jimmy Howard, and they are tied at 1. They're not done yet. Still in the first, final seconds of a 5-on-3 advantage. It's another deflection, this time by Jason Spezza. Dallas led it 2-1 after 1. Same score midway through the second. Bertuzzi with the long pass ahead to Andreas Athanasiou. Double-A, what's causing all this? Thank you very much. 10th of the year. It ties it at 2. Stars on the power play again a couple of minutes later, and it's Spezza again. This time on the feed from Alexander Radulov. The Stars beat the Wings 4-2. Well, ESPN reported over the weekend that Patriots offensive coordinator Matt Patricia will be the Lions' new head coach once the Pats season is over. Patricia was asked about that report on a conference call with the media. He didn't have much to say.
Yeah, I'm really just in the same place as I was last week. I went through the process that the NFL allows us to go through, and during the bye week I was able to have the opportunity to talk to a couple teams, which I did, and then quickly turned my focus to a very good Tennessee team, and now I'm on to a very dangerous Jacksonville team. So, there's a process that's involved with that. There's, things that, the league sets out guidelines, and, I followed those when I could. And fortunately, the good part about it for me is those are set up so that I can really focus on my job that I need to do, and that's get ready for Jacksonville.
College hoops, Central Michigan trying to snap its 3-game losing streak at Ball State. Pick it up midway through the first. Luke Meyer in the corner for 3. It gives the Chips a 1-point lead. He was 6 of 10 from downtown. But the Cardinals start to pull away in the second. Jeremy Tyler in the corner for a triple of his own. He scored 21. Ball State up 12. The Chips do come back led by Meyer. He dropped 26. But the deficit was too big to overcome. CMU drops its 4th straight, 82-76. Moving on to the high school game, a GAC battle with Atherton at Hamady. Justin Smith making things happen for the Wolves. From the opposite 3-point line to Elliot McCants for the alley-oop. Then it's Smith with the no-look dish to Malik Penn. He explodes to the hole. Hawks staying in front, though. Instant offense. Ali Brewster with the pull-up J. That's good for a 10-point lead. Then it's Razwan Brewster dribbling through traffic. He scoops it home. Next up, Punky Brewster. Yeah. Nah, just kidding. Amity wins 78-50. On the girls' side, Midland Dow hosting Class A second-ranked team Saginaw Heritage. Chargers down 14 at the half, but Molly Davis tries sparking the comeback from the parking lot. She had a game-high 25. Hawks answer right back. Mallory McCartney with the no-looker to Mo Joyner. The junior led Heritage with 19. Then it's our current ABC 12 Athlete of the Week, Jesse Bicknell. The pull-up in the paint. Heritage improves to 9-0. They take down Dow 61-38.
All right. Well, our big story tonight, the suspected meteor that lit up the night sky. A lot of us seeing some cool video, hearing a lot from people what they saw, seeing posts on social media. Final thoughts, Chris, on this event?
Yeah, I think our guest nailed it. A bolide. I think that's it, just because it broke up and so many people saw it, how bright it was.
It was so bright.
Because sometimes they can be twice as bright as the moon. And that's what we're seeing in a lot of these images. And I know it scared the blank out of a lot of people, but don't worry, nothing dangerous came from this. Just a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for many of us.
Witnessed a little bit of history.
And also some history for us upcoming. No snow tomorrow. That's a big change over the last couple of days, and temperatures warming up each day this week heading into the weekend.
The morning show will have much more on the bolide tomorrow.